Welcome to my studio. I'm Dr. Bonnie Woodruff. Yes, I have a PhD in music education, but I have also taught piano for over 50 years. And I was legacy this European way of learning to play the piano years ago by a great concert pianist out of Europe. And I have developed this on the computer with visual and audio and comments. I said Fastrak, didn't I? It is Fastrak, but not a gimmick. It is a complete educational program. What do I mean by that? I mean that you will know at any given time what you're doing on the piano. You'll have all that information on your fingertips. You will also not have to read a note to begin with. If you're a beginner, that's really wonderful. Because if you have to read notes when you're a beginner, it impedes the progress, so I can't be fast tracked. We're just going to use the musical alphabet of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So in the first lesson, you are starting to play like this. Oh, isn't that amazing? Yeah. And that's because you can play at level 3 to 5 like you've studied for 3 to 5 years. Now you say, I already have studied 3 to 5 years. Well, then this will be a good level for you to continue your educational course. Now, if you're more advanced than that, you need it even more because you need to see what you have missed in your other studies. Believe you me, the other studies have missed a lot. I'm talking from experience of taking many of the other courses and teaching the other courses before I was taught by the great master. So in the next couple of months, you'll sound like this. You say, yeah, right. No, right. You will. And that's because you're doing patterns like this, which are 3rd to 5th level, and equal in each hand. So your left hand is just as good as your right hand. And I've heard a lot of them say, my right hand works fine, but my left hand don't. Well, if you've been taking lessons and you have that problem, then through my course in 5 weeks, your left hand will be equal with your right hand. Okay? Now, how many hours are you going to have to practice to be able to perform like this? How about 30 minutes a day in a 5-day week? Now, of course, you'll go a little faster if you do an hour, or if you do 2 hours. So I'm just giving you an idea that you'll accomplish where you want to be. Play for your own enjoyment, play for your church, play for a nightclub, whatever. You'll have that accomplished in the first 6 months or less, depending on how much practice you put in. Then the other courses, to have 3 to 5 years, it takes 3 to 5 years of practice, and many times 4 hours a day. So which course do you really want to have? That gives all the information, the complete picture. And not only that, it is fun to learn this way. Just think, I do not have to read a note to begin with. Now there's ideas on the page to show you notes, but you don't have to. It'll just say A, B, C, D, F, G. But anyway, so a lot of my students are playing like this in the first year. Okay, actually all those patterns that look very advanced, right? You learn in the first 6 months. Yeah, you are learning to do chromatics. How about that? Yeah. So once I get into that song, and I'm using both ends of my fingers, okay, then my program then can be put into advanced work without more books. Hey, that's a plus. No more money spent on books, except the songs you want to learn to play. Now, some of my books, there's 4 song books as you're learning to play the white key technique. Well, that sounds like songs, yes. So you get an idea of the dominant ninth being resolved, dominant 7th being resolved, 7th being resolved. So there's resolutions, there's theory that you need to understand what you're doing at the keyboard. I had a student that had taken from 4 other teachers and 4 other methods, and he got bored with it, and he said, yeah, I felt stupid. Yeah, I understand that. I did too, growing up on the other methods. And so when he went with me, in 6 months or less, since he already knew how to read notes, he was after being able to play Moonlight Sonata. And when he finished that, he said, boy, you know what's scary? And I thought, oh my goodness, I didn't know I did something to make him scared. And he said, no, that was just a idiom of a word. Scary, he meant. What was so scary is the fact that I was smart at the piano. I knew exactly what I was doing and where to go next. Oh my goodness. Yes, my piano course does that for you. Your tonal formulation, your theory is important. But it's fun to learn the way I have. It's like playing music. And because if you're doing scale work, wow, that sounds like you did a song right there. And so when you're doing, like, later on, oh, you're doing what? A whole step scale work, a suspended tone being resolved. You are going to learn so much from my piano course that people are going to be amazed with your performance and all that you can do. By the time you get to the 4th book of the white key technique, so you see, you're doing all kinds of patterns. So when you get to this song, you have already been studying, or you are studying the patterns. 6 is going down. An impure against a pure adjustment. In the left hand, using an Alberti bass. Doing triads, chords, arpeggios and 6s. And usually you don't do arpeggios and 6s until you have had 3 to 5 years of music. Now, don't you want to be able to grasp all this in the first 6 months? And let's put it together. Let's hear from you and get you on your journey to where you want to be in learning the piano.
I wanted to say a few more things about this piano method. In large part, my course develops concert pianist technique. simply through a series of little patterns. Classical piano is basically never taught in this way, but after 30 years of teaching this course and viewing the results from my students, I can guarantee you that it does in fact work and work miraculously. So you're going to have a piano course that has Chopin and Liszt technique and teaching and dynamic finger power and most accurate kind of motion. So if we're doing just a simple of hitting the black keys or enlarging that idea into, or later on, and all you see here is exactly what you do learn in the first 6 months. And I can't overemphasize enough of that it is miraculous that you will have those kind of abilities. And why? And I just explained that because you're going to start at level 3 to 5 but don't have to read notes if you're a beginner. If you read notes, so fine. If you want to continue reading notes, that's fine, because if you master the note reading, you're not going to have any problem either. You'll go just as fast. Okay, so we want the most accurate kind of motion. So if I was going from here to there in a jump, I want to be able to have instant response. So this does teach you how to have that. And it develops an intelligent self-control. So if I was doing something like this, where do I go next? I know, because I know the laws of music. Right. And if you know the laws of music, you can start composing. Oh, yeah. Oh, you'll be playing just like that because you have developed an intelligent self-control at the piano. If it's just this, right, that's a black key technique overlaying into the white key, huh? So later on, to master instant response, right, so you see, you can master the piano and develop like the professionals, that professional quality, precise and sharpened hearing development. So if you're doing all these 27 patterns, you're also developing your hearing in it. Oh, you say, I'll be doing things like that? Absolutely. Those are patterns that you're going to learn. And so I was just inventing other little melodies with that. That's kind of classical, isn't it? So you see, you can do that. And my students in 6 months are playing like this. Oh, yes. So you're going to know how to play it, what fingers to use, the cushion or the tips, and you're going to have artistic substance in every sound. Yes. And you said, what did I do there? You did an impure adjustment against a pure adjustment. What does that sound like? Oh, that's horrible, isn't it? So you're going to learn this impure adjustment always follows off the three black keys to a neutral E, and then you enter into the pure adjustment. So when you did that, so when you go on with that song, you're going to do an Alberti bass. You're going to know the names of what you're doing. So when you do Fair de Lis in the first 2 months, you say, how can I do that? Well, you know, in first place, Fair de Lis is just what? Melody? And when you do the E, D sharp, E, D sharp, E, you already know that law. And when you do bottom, top, middle, you already have that law taught to you. So, and this? 5, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 2, 5, 2, 1, 2, 5, 2, 1, 2, 5, 2, 1, 2, 5, 2, 1. So both hands are going to work equally well. And you're going to have artistic substance in every sound that you want to produce on the piano. And there's that again, 5, 2, 1. But what did we do? Yeah, and when we learn distance and pitch, we learn the sounds. Ooh, how terrible. Oh, wow. But what if we add this? That's my eternity tone. It never ends. And you leave them still floating in eternity, don't you? I love doing that at the end of a song. Right. That is so much fun to do that, isn't it? Well, you're going to find out. But your teachers are going to be excited about teaching you too, because why? You're going to play like you never thought possible. Have proper energetic balance, and the results may vary with individuals, of course, depending if you're 2 or 3. I've started them as young as 3. And if you are at that awkward stage, this is wonderful to take the piano course because it'll help your development to not be so awkward in your growth spurts and like that. So, what do we want? To have proper energetic balance. The controlling purpose of this program is that the occasional pianist and composer and musician must have at his or her fingertips material adequate for immediate use. Oh, and that is so important. So that's what we're after. We're after you being able to master the piano. Yes, one of my students, 6 years of age, he was playing like this. Yes, another one, 9 years of age. Now, where did he get all that from? He got it from my black key technique because that's where I build, and the white key technique. So when you go into this, right, what happens there, that's what arpeggios and sixes. There's a proper way of mastering that. We build towards that, and then before you know it, you're doing it in the first 6 months. Isn't that wonderful? So, this tells you all the laws, all the secrets, all the foundation you need. There's not another thing that you need in any other books. But if you want to use them, well, that's up to you. But there isn't anything that isn't taught or spoken or done that isn't in my book. We use all the non-essentials. We eliminate all the non-essentials. But we use all the essentials that is in music. And then we want instant response. And I want you to have fun at the piano. Maybe you'll be a concert pianist in the first year at Juilliard Arts Music Conservatory and show up the Browns 5 who took from age 3 to get there. And you only took a year to get there. Welcome. And I'm so glad that you decided to teach my program and to study all that I have available for you to study my program. God bless.